Hey guys, how's it going? Today's video is going to be another book tag. I'm going to be doing the How I Read tag. This tag is very old. Most of the videos I saw of people doing it were from like 2015 and they mentioned that it was old, so I'm just late to the party, but that's okay. I believe this tag was originally created by Enya's Corner, but their channel doesn't have any videos on it anymore. I'm not sure if they would delete it or privated, so I'm going to leave their channel link down below just in case it ever comes back. But I'm also going to have all the questions typed out, so if you wanted to do this tag, if you wanted to be fashionably late like me, the questions are going to be there. But without further ado, let's get straight into the questions. Question number 1, how do you find out about new books to read? Lately, it's been mostly Booktube and AuthorTube. Booktube because it's essentially a platform for people to talk about their favorite books all day, so hello. And AuthorTube because I'm getting to see my friends writing books and talking about their books and watching the whole process with them and then buying their books and supporting them, and that's just so much fun. So mostly Booktube and AuthorTube, but also my local library or on my Overdrive app. I just kind of scroll through whatever is available, whatever I'm in the mood for, or sometimes I'll click on a recent book that I read and see the like related titles or other books that people recently checked out related to those, stuff like that. But I would say those are the main ways. Question number 2, how did you get into reading? See, this question is hard because I've always been into reading. You know, my parents read to me from the time I was a newborn, and then when I learned to read, I read to myself, and I haven't really stopped. The first word I ever learned how to spell was book. I read Lord of the Rings for the first time when I was 4 years old. Like, I have always been reading. So, I guess how did I get into reading? I was born. Question number 3, how has your taste in books changed as you've gotten older? I'd say that my tastes have just expanded. I still like the same things that I liked, I just also like more things. Growing up, not that many of my friends read, at least not as much as I did, so most of the books that I read were stuff that my parents were reading. My mom read a lot of John Saul, stuff like that, and my dad read a lot of high fantasy, you know, Lord of the Rings, Wheel of Time, stuff like that. And that was pretty much all what I read because they were the books that were already in the house, and that's just how I got my book recommendations, was from my parents. But as I got older and essentially got access to more things and was able to look up books on my own and surround myself with more bookish people, I've gotten so many other recommendations, I've tried so many other things, so I still love what I originally loved, I just read a lot more things too. But I would say high fantasy is still like the backbone to my reading, so it hasn't changed that much. Question number 4, how often do you buy books? I would say every couple months maybe. I usually get some books for Christmas, so I don't do much book shopping in like November and December. Every August near me there's a giant outdoor flea market that's my family's biggest tradition. It's a gigantic flea market, so I buy quite a few books from there, and usually at like super cheap prices, so that's always good. Aside from that, I'd say maybe a couple times a year. Question number 5, how did you get into Booktube? I was watching a whole lot of organizing videos, cleaning videos, stuff like that, because I just find them so soothing. And as always, I fell down the YouTube rabbit hole and I started finding videos of people organizing their bookshelves, which are still some of my favorite videos to watch. It's my love of books and my love of organizing, and it's perfect. But I watched a lot of those, and then I started seeing in my recommendations, you know, other Booktube related content, or I'd realized that these people made a bunch of videos about books, so I started watching their other videos, watching other Booktube related content, and that's basically it. So cleaning and organizing is how I got into it. Question number 6, how do you react when you don't like the end of a book? I guess it depends on how strongly I dislike it and why. If it's, you know, a happy ending when I wanted a sad ending, or a sad ending when I wanted a happy ending, then I just kind of, I'm like, oh well, sometimes I'll rant to the cats about it. That's usually how I react to most things, I just rant to the cats. But if it's something that I think it's a genuinely badly done ending, then I'll usually mention it in my wrap-up and rant about it for a little bit. It depends on how spoilery it is. Usually I'll at least mention my wrap-up that I didn't like the ending, but I can't go into details about why for the most part. So as far as spoilery details, I'll rant to the cats, or I complain about it in my writing journal where I log all the books that I read. Honestly though, I don't have that too often, Most of the time, if I didn't like the ending to the book, I didn't like the rest of the book that much either. But I can't really think of many books off the top of my head that I was really enjoying the book and then the ending ruined it. So, yeah. Question number 7. How often do you take a sneak peek at the end of a book to see if there's a happy ending? Almost never. When I was younger, I used to read the last line just because I was painfully curious and just, even if nothing made sense, I still had to know what the last line was. But I haven't done that since I was fairly young. Most of the time, though, I don't want a happy ending. I like being tortured by books. I like crying in books. I like just being hurt and emotional because that just means it's a really good book. If I can get so invested that it emotionally hurts me when they do something, that means they did a good job. I was very, very close to doing this with They Both Die at the End by Adam Silvera, just because I really wanted to know if they really both died at the end, because it's called They Both Die at the End. The synopsis says they both die at the end. The entire book's premise is that they both die at the end. But you know how there's always that little bit of hope that you're like, well, maybe they don't. And that was probably the one book that I wanted a happy ending. Well, that's not even true. I would have loved either ending. I just fell in love with those characters, and a big part of me just wanted to see them happy and live happily ever after together, but another big part of me really wanted to cry. But to answer the question, I don't look at the back of the book because I just don't want to know yet. And that was the last question. I'm not going to tag people because I think this tag is at least 6 years old, and that's forever in internet years. So if you haven't done this tag, feel free, the questions are down below, and let me know in the comments if you do it because I would love to check it out because I think this is just a really fun tag and I want to see other people doing it. But that will be all for today's video. If you enjoyed it, please click the like button to let me know and subscribe to see if I actually do any reading this month. I'm posting Nanowrimo vlogs 5 days a week and other videos twice a week, and after November I'm going back to my regular posting schedule of every Wednesday and Sunday. So I hope to see you guys next time, and until then, have a great day. Bye!